information. Let's get more on the attacks in Afghanistan with Haseeb Humayoon. He's a political analyst and joins us from Kabul. This is a staggering security lapse. So what does it say about how prepared Afghan forces are for breaches on this scale?
Amity, I think it does say a lot. If you look at it, this is obviously a massive attack, very well coordinated by the enemy, by the Taliban, and not just in Kabul, but many other parts of the country. But the response has been very impressive. The police force, the national security forces overall have lost probably around 8 people, and they've had a couple of a dozen casual injuries. But what they have done in the process is minimized harm to the civilians. And I think that's the biggest takeaway from this incident. The Taliban, yes, in fact, they have the capability. They've projected that to infiltrate the city, to take possession in very key, very crucial areas. It could mean this is, again, it is a lapse in intelligence, absolutely, but the response is the major takeaway again. We've had young soldiers on streets for the past 18 to 20 hours now, non-stop fighting them, and I think, again, this country does owe them a word of gratitude, does actually have to recognize the fact that they have proved themselves to be capable of putting a fight against an enemy that doesn't seem to be actually turning away from its main instrument, which is violence.
Okay, well, you say that the Afghan forces have prevented mass civilian casualties, but is it that they've prevented them, or were the Taliban not planning to kill lots of people? Were they just planning to make a statement?
I think it could be very well taken as the maximum damage they caused. The Taliban, they will, because they keep trying, because again we've seen over time very much a less regard for civilian casualties. The areas they infiltrated there were residential buildings, there were people living there, working in those areas. So I don't quite understand how is it that they would not be planning to harm civilians. On the other side, again, that the security forces of the country, the way they have responded to it, some of it even in some parts, what we learned is that their response was mellowed down, was timid, in part because to ensure that the civilians that were either taken hostage, specifically around the parliament building attack, were not harmed by the Taliban. So there is if that hostage-taking scenario is actually real, they did mean to cause civilian casualties.
Okay, very briefly now, an Afghan Interior Ministry spokesman says it's likely the Haqqani network is somehow involved in these attacks. Would you agree?
I think it's part, the Haqqani network, be it or the Qara or any of them, they're part and parcel of the same brand. It does, for tactical reasons, for actually getting the fight back to them. It may help to distinguish who exactly it was, but overall, at the strategic level, it doesn't quite matter. I think it's the insurgents, the Taliban, that keep doing this, and they are, in a way, both creating fear that and in fact learning that this country over time, especially the city, has immense resilience. At 4 in the morning, the fight was still going on. At 6 in the morning, you can still hear ice cream carts playing music on streets and selling ice cream. So again, that's a news the Taliban should take away from all this.
Thank you very much for your input. That's Haseeb Humayoon speaking to us from Kabul.
Absolutely, thank you.